Oh, God. Oh, God, my throat. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kobold Chats. It's the Happy New Year, first and foremost. Hold on, wait. Let me get one of... Wait, what did I do with it? Oh, no. Wait, is this the one that works? It might be. No, it's not the one that works. Hold on. Oh, no. I'm immediately bungling this, but not remembering what I did with the one working kazoo that I have. What did I do with it? I had it the other day for a video I was doing. What? Whatever. All right. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to Kobold Chats. It's been a hot second since we've done one of these. I got very sick during like the last couple of weeks of December, as well as I was having some computer issues. Obviously, the universe was sabotaging me. The void is encroaching upon our world, and wanted to start with my computer and my own health. But hey, we're back for 2025. Hello, all of my favorite people. And we're doing the thing that I love doing most, talking about Kobold Press. I hope you all had a wonderful holidays, a wonderful rest of your December, and a very joyous start to your new year. Thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody's getting sick, and of course there are many reasons for that. There's COVID and like colds and flus. That it's the season. Everybody's traveling. It's cold outside. Our immune systems are weak, and we all just want to have a very merry holiday. And well, sometimes that's the thing that happens when you do that. So here we are. I'm alive and well. And hopefully all of you are as well. It's been a long 2024, gang. It was a long 2024. We're here in 2025. And so today this is gonna be a kind of chill stream today. We are going to be talking about a lot of the things that happened last year, some of the things that you can be expecting from this year, and then also reading the blog, because I love our blog. It's my favorite thing. So of course we're gonna do some of that. But hey, let's just finished GMing a campaign set in the Grand Duchy of Dornig, in Midgard, and starting work on the next one in Midgard. Hey, I love to hear that. That's awesome. I hope that campaign was a lot of fun, and I hope your next one is going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget to check out Midgard Mondays over on the blog. Whoa, look at that. Tell us my 2025 secrets. I'll tell you some of my 2025 secrets. No one. Only some of them. Because there are many of them that have to remain a secret for at least another couple of days. We love Midgard. Okay, I'm stalling. Let's go on over. Hey, Jiro, what are we talking about? Not those. We're talking about, it's January, gang, which I don't know if many of you know this, or you're not hearing audio. Make sure you, well, if you can't hear me, the thing that I was about to say doesn't make sense. I think you can. Make sure that if you could ask them to make sure that they don't have me muted, that would probably be the issue. Hello, everyone. What was I saying? Yes, January. January is New Game Master Month. This is the month where we celebrate all of the wonderful people, both old game masters, right? The ones that have helped make our games run the way that they do, helped craft the stories that we all get to sit down and play, but also celebrate the new people, the new game masters, the players becoming game masters, or brand new people to tabletop whatsoever, saying, hey, I think I could run a game. I could help tell a story with my friends. I could help facilitate this. This is their month. This is the month in which we celebrate them. And to help celebrate them, I don't know if many of you know this. This is the thing that I learned like a couple of weeks ago, is that there is actually a new Game Master Month website that you can go to. It's newgamemastermonth.com. I'm going to put the link in all these little chats over here. Hold on, wait, that's the YouTube, and then bam, that's the, yeah, hey, look at that. And the new Game Master Month has brought together all of these different companies with all of these different systems so that we can help teach you how to play the game, how to run the game. So if you don't already know how to run the game, you can learn and maybe start new tables, bring more people into this wonderful hobby that we have. And so you can go over there, and there's so many of us, right? There's the Numenera, you want to know Unknown Armies, Trail of Cthulhu, RuneQuest, Delta Green, Monster of the Week, Savage Worlds, and hey, look at that, Tales of the Valiant. That's us. Right? It's so, like, I think this is so cool because this is the kind of resource that I think a lot of people really need, right? Because even if you are a person who already plays the game, right, there's something about game mastering that can be a little daunting, right? You are the person who potentially is talking the longest, having to facilitate, you're having to build a world, quest, NPCs, and all of these things, and then also hold the mechanics of the game in your mind. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in game mastering. And so I think this is really cool to be able to give people the resources and the tips, tricks, and all of that good stuff to be able to help them game master, to be able to take that next step from going to a player to a game master, or a non-player into a game master as well. And so if you go over to their website, you know, there's the list of everything, but you can also go to the Start Here link right here at the top. And it's like, hey, welcome to New Game Master Month program. The New Game Master Month is January, and we'll have our first session on January 7th. Why not at the start of the month? Well, some people are still recovering from the holidays, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. And the 7th gives us plenty of time in January to run through the program with the final session on the 30th. Now, what's the program? So, the program is... It is a month-long seminar in the form of twice weekly posts for each of the games, right? Each session will take you through a step or two in the process with a brief lesson on an aspect of GMing, followed by some quick, enjoyable activities that actually get you ready to run your first game. It's not all academics by any means. This is a hands-on seminar. And by the end of the program, in early February, you won't be a prospective GM anymore. You'll have GM'd your first full-on RPG session, running it without a hitch and having a great time doing it. So you can go to the Start Here page, and this is where, hey, for all of the different games that you want to learn, starting on January 7th, there's going to be a new blog post for each of these games teaching you how to slowly build up the skills and all the things that you need to be able to run your first game, so that by February, you will have already done so. And you will, as it said, no longer be a prospective GM. You'll be a full GM, a fully fledged GM, which I think is super cool. So, what can you do right now? Here's the list. You can choose the game you'd like to run. I hope you choose Tales of the Valiant. If you don't, there's a number of other games you do that's in there. But also, Tales of the Valiant's pretty good, I think. But hey, that's just me. There are several publishers participating, which means you can choose between several different RPGs, or choose multiple. Regardless of which you choose, you'll get a step-by-step specific instructions to prepare for that game. Which should you choose? Well, pick one you've played before, or that you're already a fan of, or one that appeals to your passions. You can find links to the game under their tabs below, or on the New Game Master Month homepage. Join the New Game Master Month Discord server. It's a great place to talk to other prospective GMs, folk who have done this program in years past, and loads of experienced GMs who are on hand to answer questions and provide support and encouragement. You can have a quick look at this webpage, the one we're reading right now. See these tabs below? See, we were already ahead. Feel free to click on any of them. This is how each session of program will be formatted. A general GMing lesson up here, where you're currently reading, with great advice on the GMing process that applies to any game. Then tabs down below for each of the participating games with specific instructions for preparing to run that game. Put January 7th on your calendar so you'll remember to come back to this page, and don't worry, we'll be talking about it again, probably next week, just like as a quick reminder, since the blog post will have already been up. So that you can, remember to come and check. You can also subscribe to the site down below in the page so you'll get an update when each session is posted. And then also tell your friends, someone who you think would love to be a game master. Just went to the Discord. KPTOV is a selectable option. Hey, thanks for that heads up. I really appreciate that. We'll be able to let someone know and get that fixed. Very much appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so tell your friends, post the link if you know somebody who's been thinking about GMing but maybe, you know, is having a hard time taking those first steps. If you have someone who, or someone who's GM'd a one game but is maybe having a hard time making the switch, they're a little daunted about that, you know, prospect because, hey, I've been running this one game for however long. I don't know if I can make the switch. I don't really have a great grasp on the rules. What if it runs differently? Hey, this is it. If you've only been running PBTA games and maybe you want to make the 5e switch or the other way around, or maybe you've only played, you know, Call of Cthulhu, but you want to check out Savage Worlds or, you know, any of these. This is for anybody who thinks that they can, who wants to make the step into being a GM. For any of these systems, this is a great resource, and we are super happy to be able to be a part of this because we want to support the community and support the players and the people who help make the games happen, which are the game masters and also the players, but specifically the facilitating and running of it, yada yada yada. You get my drift. All right, so that's New Game Master Month, which I think is pretty cool. I hope you all think so too. This is something that I wish I had when I first started GMing over a decade ago. This would have been very, very helpful when I taught myself. Actually, very fun story. When I first tried to, when I was first getting into Dungeons and Dragons, back in my junior year of high school, somewhere around there, it was 4th edition D&D that was out, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to teach myself 4th edition D&D, and I was Googling character sheets for things, and I was like, okay, yeah, let me go find these character sheets, and I downloaded them, and I was like, okay, let me figure out I was looking at the books and trying to figure out how to fill it out, and I was like, man, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. This doesn't none of what I'm reading in this book is really transferring to the things I'm saying on this character sheet. And that's because I had downloaded a 3.5 a 3.5 edition character sheet and was trying to use 4th edition rules in it. And I don't know if you have ever tried to make that switch from 3.5 to 4e. They're completely different games. Completely different games. None of the same information on those sheets. I was so confused. But I figured it out. And here I am, a decade later. So yeah, that's that. Let's see. What is... going along with the New Game Master Month, we had a new blog come out today, actually, written by one of our resident game designers, Brian Suskind. Love Brian. Wonderful person. Great designer. I can only imagine. I struggle with... Yeah, me too. And so we have a new blog, Game Changer, Advice for New GMs by Brian Suskind, which, hey, it's New GM Month. You want to become a new GM? You want some advice? Brian's been doing it for years, been designing for games for years. And so, a wonderful resource, a great person to get these things, get this kind of information from. Brian's also has been one of our org play GMs for quite a while as well, and also a VIP GM. He knows his stuff. And so this is just some information on that. We've got a lot of stuff to go through, so I don't know if I'm going to read all of this blog. But I am going to put the link in all the chats. Savage Worlds is a lot of fun. I think I was hearing you. I think we've talked about your Savage Worlds game before, Megan, and it sounded like fun. But yeah, so this is, let's see, I'm just going to read. How much of this is going to... this could be a critic. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's just going to be a long Kobold Chats today. You know, we haven't done it in a while, so I'll go a little longer. Why not? So, Pack Tactics, our roundtable advice column, is becoming game changer. We're consulting our resident GMing expert, Brian Suskind. You might recognize Brian's name from any of his slew of past Kobold products, such as Campaign Builder, Castles and Crowns, and the Tales of the Valiant Monster Vault. Or you might remember the Welcome Aboard blog we did for him about 3 months ago. So, Anonymous GM asks, how much metagame information do I give players? Should they know the DC of ability checks they're trying to beat? How much do I tell them about a monster they're encountering? Is there a standard way to give players out-of-game knowledge, but do it in the game world? A great question, I think, because as a GM, right, I think different GMs come at it from very different angles of long Kobold checks break the rules. Yeah, I can break the rules. It's my rules. I can break them. But this is a great question because, especially I imagine like for a lot of new GMs, it's hard to, the screen, the game master screen, the DM screen, whatever, creates a barrier between the person running the game and the people playing the game, the game master and the players. And because there is a screen, there is this kind of implicit suggestion, right, that the things behind the screen are a secret. The things behind it should not be told to the players, because if you were to tell them, it could potentially ruin the immersion of the game, ruin the thrilling excitement of the game, right? Oh hey, this is a monster with health points, with resources, with like moves that I'm picking and choosing, right? There are dice that I'm rolling, like obscuring the mechanics of the game master side to better make the players think that they are playing a game. And because of that screen and like the culture around it, we all have very different takes on how information should be given, how much information should be given, and should it be given in the first place. So I think this is a great question. I'm interested in how Brian answers this and if I would answer it differently. So, secrets and whispers, information. It's the lifeblood of folks who want to know stuff. Sometimes players have the impression that GMs are gatekeeping information, but are you? Yeah, kind of. Hang on though. People usually use the word gatekeeping to mean unfairly withholding information to keep someone out. What you're doing as a GM is withholding information to draw people in. So apply this thinking to GMing. As the GM, do you tell the players the mechanics or describe the numbers as if they're a part of the game world? And what is metagame info? Metagame information is info about the game, but outside of the game. You know your rogue has to scuttle under a falling stone door before it shuts. But outside of the game, you might know that this is a DC 13 dexterity acrobatics check. What this is talking about is the balance between immersion and mechanics, that thing I was talking about. Immersion and mechanics are not opposites, but sometimes they pull in different directions. Neither side is wholly wrong. We play this game using a shared assumption of the rule set. That's what allows it to work. There are rules, there are numbers, there are charts and tables and so forth. Yet, it is also a shared storytelling experience. We are weaving a tale of our characters defeating mighty foes and hopefully saving the day. Talking about the mechanics out loud can facilitate that. I agree with this. I 100% agree with talking about the mechanics out loud can facilitate the players telling the story, and sometimes even have the characters have the players more invested in the story of the characters because they understand the stakes. If you understand the numbers and understand the mechanics, you know it's almost like being a general at war. And I know that, you know, this is actually a very easy connection to make because of tabletops like wargaming connections, right? If you are at war, right, and you understand, okay, the enemy has this many people, they're moving in these kinds of directions. This is the territory, the geography that we're fighting in, right? Like these are the kinds of weapons we have, so on and so forth. That is understanding the mechanics of the battle you're about to go into, and understanding that allows you agency to make specific choices so that are potentially more optimal for you depending on what your goals are. But in that, there are also the stakes of, okay, here are all of the other things that the other person can do to me, and then that puts stress on your choice, because then you have to go, well, what if I make the wrong decision? And that in itself adds a certain amount of tension, or what if something goes wrong, right? This is the way I think this should go based on our training and my knowledge of what's going on, but what if there are things that I don't know? What if there are other hidden, variables that I miscounted, and all, like, the knowing the mechanics then adds the tension of, well, I know how things could also go wrong. And I think that is a very, very powerful tool. And I think we might get into this in the times to lower the screen and more than the DCs, but ultimately, yes, I think giving some metagame information is actually very helpful for immersion, because it gives the players an understanding of what is at stake and how things could potentially go wrong for them, which makes them care more about their characters and make them be more thoughtful in the decisions that they're making. Times to lower the screen. There are times when you should absolutely describe things as part of the game world. I prefer to do this when someone succeeds on a save. I might say, the fireball explodes with concussive force, but you dive to one side, avoiding the blast. This feels better than, you made your save. There are also times when the players benefit from knowing mechanics like DCs or dice values. Clarity. Tell a player what the number to beat is so they know what's going on. Although we talk about the shared storytelling space in role-playing games, in reality, every participant has a slightly different vision of what's happening. Sharing mechanics keeps everyone on the same page. I agree with that. Pacing. You might ask everyone to roll a DC 12 dex save against a monster's weird power, rather than asking each player individually. Everyone is going to figure it out pretty quickly, and it's not a lot of fun to go one by one. So just cut to the mechanics to make things go quickly. And the drama. Other times you might single out a player, telling them the DC or the AC to beat. This can increase dramatic tension at the table. You can get a ton of mileage out of saying, the demon will surely strike the king down with its next attack if you don't finish it now. You need to beat an AC 18 on your attack. Go for it. I perfect. Yeah. Okay, Brian. Yeah. Well, we are aligned in that. This is exactly the kind of thing that I was thinking about when it's like some of the information, like DCs, I think are a really, really easy way to lower the screen just a little bit, just enough for the players to understand, okay, because they know the dice they need to roll. They should know all of their modifiers, and because they know those two things, they then know, like, if I have to beat an AC 18 and my bonus to attack is 5, I need to roll a 13 or higher to hit. That they know the number they need to hit. That makes it more stressful, because if they don't hit that number, they immediately know they fail, right? It no longer is okay, I roll the dice, I add my thing, okay, this is what it is, here's my number, do I hit? That's a lot of steps for the player to have to go through, which can still be very helpful, can still be very tense in certain moments, but sometimes you want the immediate, like, here's the number you need to hit. If you don't hit this, you fail, and here are the stakes for if you fail. And that's a very powerful, dramatic moment. Heck yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you're rooting for the dice because you're like, okay, I've done everything I can do now. It's up to fate now. And the fact that it's up to fate is like, you don't have power over that. Now, you might have some mechanics that let you nudge it in either directions, like the luck system lets you add, a couple. And in that case, you also know, okay, I have a plus 5 to hit. And I have 3 luck points on me. So technically, really thinking about it, I could either have a +8, or I know I have a reroll in my pocket that I could potentially use. And so you're like, okay, I either now need to hit a 10, which is a 50-50 shot, or I roll too low, like I roll like a 5, and then I need to spend those 3 luck points to then get a reroll, and in which case I need to hit a 13 or above again. knowing the mechanics adds tension because you know exactly what the fail state is. So yeah, very much aligned in that. More than DCs, but there's more to metagame know-how than just DCs. If you have a foe with resistance to lightning, for example, do you just come out and tell the players? Mostly, this is a matter of preference. I usually say something like, your lightning bolt spell doesn't seem to be as effective as you expected, which communicates that the attack did half damage without talking numbers. The same thing goes with high AC. You might describe a weapon skittering down the hardened shell or tough hide, rather than just saying, you didn't roll high enough. For me, if I give out of character knowledge in a way that feels like it is in the game world, I default to that. Most things can be described in game world terms. A successful save against a mind-controlling effect could be described as the character exerting their will against insidious and alien thoughts. A high AC is heavy armor. Wings indicate a flying speed. But there are also times when I'm handling a ton of things at the table during a big battle, and don't have the mental room to formulate a nice turn of phrase. The choice to couch things in game world terms or to give them to players as out-of-character knowledge can easily come down to time and situation. If you have the brain space and time for it, give information as part of the game world to keep immersion strong, but don't make things hard for yourself. If it's faster and easier to talk in mechanical terms because you're busy juggling all of the other aspects of the game, just give them the numbers. Brian, digital high five. Yeah, no, 100%. This is great. I think this is wonderful advice for a starting GM, or even for GMs who've been playing for a while now, because, you know, sometimes you need the thoughts of another game master to kind of help things make more sense in your brain. Yeah, no, awesome, amazing. So yeah, you can head on over to the Kobold Press blog. You can check that out. And yeah, there's a little, hey, if you want to talk to more people about it, you can join our Discord server, and you can talk to other people and get some more thoughts from other people, because the sharing of that kind of information and other people's practices can only make ours better once we hone our steel on the steel of others, hone our blades on the whatever. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah. Awesome. So yeah, go check that out. Now, we've been talking about new GMs. And speaking of things for GMs, and perhaps even new ones, I don't know if you all know about a little book we're putting together, a little Kickstarter we're doing. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But hey, you know, it's Monster Vault 2, baby! Deadly Creatures for 5th edition and Tales of the Valiant. This Monster Vault 2... gang, Monster Vault 2 is coming. It's so soon. I think it's okay for me to tell you that it's like next week that this launches. I think that's okay for me to say. I think we all know that, right? Because the Discord AMA is happening next Monday. So literally, what? I guess counting today. What? No, I guess I wouldn't count today. It's 3 days from now, because it's next Monday, January 6th. And we do the Discord AMA every Monday right before the Kickstarter goes live. We're bringing in our designers and editors so you all can ask your questions, get information about Monster Vault 2. I'm so excited for this. Because the great thing I think about Monster Vault 2 as like just overall is that Monster Vault 1 is done. That's the great thing about Monster Vault 2. Monster Vault 1 is done. And what I mean by that is Monster Vault 1 was primarily, I think almost entirely, with like some exceptions and like our own changes, right? The 5th edition SRD, right? We wanted to convert all of the main monsters that everyone, like the go-tos, right? We wanted to make sure that all of those things were properly converted for Tales of the Valiant, and make sure that those were in the bag and everybody had it. Monster Vault 2's new monsters, baby! All new monsters. More than 300 new monsters. which is what about a pocket edition to go with the Kickstarter? I don't have the answer to that question. I imagine we do pocket editions for all of our books, so I imagine that there will be one eventually. As far as if it will go with the Kickstarter, I don't have the particular answer to that. Kim might have the answer to that, but I personally do not. Okay, thank you, Kim. For everyone else, oh wait, but there's a but here. There's a but here. We do them for all of our core books, yes. So there will be a Monster Vault 2 pocket edition. It just does not go with the Kickstarter. There'll be one eventually once we get through the process of making the book. So that's that. But yes, Monster Vault 2's all new monsters, baby. And one of the reasons I'm so excited for this book is I might have designed a monster or two for it, you know. I guess I might have designed a monster or two for it. It's which is so cool. I'm so excited for you all to see. Not just that, but also like the monster harvesting rules, the new ways to use Doom. Like there's a lot in this book that I think will be great for both new and old game masters, but also just like a heck of a lot of fun for players as well. I mean, as fun as Doom can be for players, but the monster harvesting rules is going to be really cool because I have so many friends who love Monster Hunter, who love killing monsters, ripping them apart, getting into them guts, taking out the bones, and making a cool sword out of it. That's just kind of fun sometimes. In fact, it was one of my favorite things about playing is it a lizard folk? Yeah, playing a lizard folk in 5e. The original rules is that they could scavenge the parts of creatures that they've killed to make like simple tools and stuff. That was just really cool. That was just a lot of fun. And so now you get full rules to do it for hundreds of monsters. And making like potions. It's gonna be really, really cool. Monster harvesting is nice. It's in the broken weave using monster parts to build your haven back up. Yeah. A Cubicle 7 game. Ooh, I have to check that out. I always wanted to submit a monster for one of the books, but I can't draw. Hey, I can't draw either. I'm so bad at drawing. Writing, I can do. Drawing, absolutely not. These hands are useless for anything other than video editing. Yeah, that's just how it goes. But yes, if you haven't already gone to the Kickstarter to get notified for the Monster Vault 2 launch, then hey, here's your chance to go do it. I'm putting the link in all of these. I had a thought when we were going to reach out to them. You can also request from one of the mods the channels for... Okay. Oh, thank you, Kim, for handling that. Cool. So yes, go check out the Monster Vault 2 over on Kickstarter and tell your friends because you're not going to want to miss out on this. We have some really cool guest designers for this. Well, I think it's... I don't know if I can say. I was about to say. I don't know if I can say yet, so I'm not going to. But you'll be able to find out once the Well, no. I wasn't even going to say all of them, Megan. I know, but there was like a few of them. No guest designers. You don't get to know them, but you don't get to know until the project goes live in like 4 days. So there you go. Using some of the supplements as well, but the GMG was a game changer. I'm glad to hear that. The Game Master's Guide is so good. It's so good. It's so good. I love it. I'm waiting for my copy to come in. Looking at you, Kim. Jokingly, of course. Half jokingly. I would love it. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So, from there, we've got, what was it? Oh, yes. Okay, we were going back to the blog. Before we get to the blog and like kind of read through some of the ones that I missed during my time being sick and such, things to look out for. Monster Vault 2, yes. We have another project actually coming down the line that you'll be hearing about next week as well. And I don't think you're all ready for it. I genuinely don't. I know you're not ready for it because there's no way. Wait, Player's Guide 2, you would think it's Player's Guide 2, wouldn't you? You would think it's Player's Guide 2. You would think it's Roll20. I wish it was Roll20. But I actually also, I also wish it's the thing that it is, because it's so cool, and it's like a really interesting direction for Kobold Press that I'm like really excited for, because it opens up a lot of doors, and I think the kind of game it is just gonna, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Space Valiant, who knows, maybe. Player's Guide 2, who knows, maybe. Roll20, who knows, maybe. You're just gonna have to wait until next week, aren't you? You're just gonna have to wait until next week. Oh, I'm so excited. That's enough teasing. Let's talk about the blog. Howling time. You find yourself in a wizard's tower. Spaced out Valiant. Okay, spaced out Valiants is kind of funny. That's when you're hanging out with the what are they? The dreamers in the labyrinth. I know they have the servants of the dreaming god. Those are the spaced out Valiants. All right. This is the blog series. You find yourself in a wizard's tower, laboratories, and libraries. This is a blog series that we've read a couple of times, and it's just about how cool wizard towers. It's how cool wizard towers are, and the different things you can put inside them to make them even cooler. This one's by Victorio Jaxo. Some locations, the wizard's tower, the sunken temple, or the haunted house, have well-trod presence in stories and adventures. In this series, we'll explore the potential of these archetypal wizard's towers, playing with or defying tropes, and presenting rules and ideas to bring them to life. This time, we're zooming in on some specific rooms in our archetypal wizard's tower, laboratories, and libraries. These spaces are fundamental. Nearly every wizard's abode has one, if not both. Here, they unearth secrets, watch experiments go awry, and hoard their knowledge. And yet, how often do these iconic spaces boil down to, you find however much gold pieces worth of alchemy equipment and some potions? Or, okay, you think you found a spell book. Do you open it? If it's hard to even imagine a wizard's laboratory that isn't some absent-minded alchemist's rummage sale, or library that isn't either perilous book piles or else ripped from Beauty and the Beast, then read on. So, here we go. In fact, hold on, wait, before we get into it, if you want to read along or read ahead, hey, here's the link to this. The ultimate hermit hole. The ultimate hermit hole. Rolodex check to avoid. Tower of High Sorcery, only it goes bad. Dragonlance reference. So true. I open it always. Always open the book? Alright, you can open the wizard's book if you want. But little did you know, it had a demon bound to it that's now bound to you. And now you take a level on Warlock. And you weren't expecting that now, were you? But so worth it. All right. So, here we go. No harm ever came from reading a book. Certainly no cursed wizard's books out there. All right. Wizard at work. Here's the thing. Whoever the master of the tower is, odds are good that most of the magic-making stuff's happening in the workshop. Whether it's something like a laboratory, more like a library, or both. Laboratory conjures up imagery of a kinesthetic kind of wizard, making tangible stuff, potion makers, wand builders, and the occasional abomination against gods and nature. Library is more associated with the spell researcher, lore keeper, glyphs and wards type who deal with the esoteric. The difference is largely semantic, but regardless of what you call it, these are the places where the magic happens. Labs and libraries. Magical details table. I love a table. Now, how do we make these archetypal rooms cool and different? Well, we'll break down some quick evocative room building into 4 parts. Description, goodies, hazards, and benefits. Description is what it sounds like, some quirky, vivid flavor text hinting at the wizard's personalities. Goodies are treasure, apart from spell books and potions. These are items that can serve story and spark curiosity. Hazards are the pitfalls of meandering through a wizard's workshop without permission. Benefits are mechanical quirks of a particular space that give an idea what it's used for and can encourage creative PC play and exploration. And you can use the table here in two ways. The grab and go. Each row is at least somewhat linked thematically, allowing the whole thing to be lifted as is. Or randomized brainstorming, my personal favorite. Roll a d8 for each column and put the different parts together to see what you get. Odds are they won't seem to have much to do with each other, but using disparate elements as inspiration allows for unexpected connections. Maybe there's a reason the lab with really lethal poisons also has an aggressive broom. Maybe the lab requires over-the-top cleanliness, lest it grow too toxic for even the master. So, we have a table, gang. You know what we got to do with it. Let's see. Where are my dice? Where's my dice? Where are my dice? My dice. Where's my dice box? I don't know what I did with it. Well, I've got this. I got the jingling bag of click clacks. All right, let's see. D8 it said? Okay. Cool. So, first and foremost, we got a description. 7. The description for this room is: taxidermied magical beasts line every wall, frozen in menacing poses. Okay. Starting off strong. Okay, so we've got taxidermied magical beasts. A 1. Green tinged a green tinged tome bound in hydra skin, detailing rare formulae for alchemical explosives and remedies. Okay, we have taxidermied magical beast, a tome bound in hydra skin, so that's a nice extension of the taxidermied, right? This is a wizard that's maybe slain many monsters, including a hydra. And then, use that skin to bound its their formulae for alchemical explosives and remedies. Okay. What are the hazards in this room? 4. An arrangement of mirrors reflects only a dark sky and stars, causing viewers to become hypnotized for hours at a time, unsure how much time has passed. Ooh. Okay, so these could be mirrors. Scrying mirrors, obviously, looking at different locations, maybe searching the world for specific magical monsters, but their default is just looking into a dark sky of stars, almost like a magical screensaver of sorts. And then the benefits. Got a 6. Language-dependent spells are cast here, as though 2 caster levels higher. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. So magical, like runes or something around the room or potentially on the mirrors, which allows for even more powerful scrying. Okay, wait. I'm going to get back to this. Zerozaku, hello. Also, love the name. Hey, quick question. What are some essential Kobold Press books to have if you love world building and monsters? Well. If you love world building and monsters, that's what Kobold Press is best at. My suggestion to you, Zero, would be, so if you're looking for monsters, we have so many monster books. In fact, it's probably what we're best known for. So you can grab any of the Tome of Beasts series. So that's Tome of Beasts 1, 2, 3, and the Creature Codex as well, which should have technically been a part of the Tome of Beasts series, but we thought we were only going to do 2 of them, and then we did more. So definitely check out the Tome of Beasts series for all of your monster needs. Of course, also if you're getting into Tales of the Valiant, there's the Tales of the Valiant Monster Vault, which updates the 5th edition SRD monsters into the Tales of the Valiant system, which is still 5th edition compatible. So you could still play them in your 5e games, but they have a little more oomph, I think. And just some more stuff happening. And also, yay, the upcoming Monster Vault 2. You can check out the link to the Kickstarter. Let me just grab that again real quick for you. Which would be great. Now, when it comes to world building, we have quite a few books. We have some setting books. Like we have the Midgard World Book, which is a huge tome, which is for the world of Midgard. But hey, I think that you should read as much as possible to be able to get inspiration and maybe steal some things, just because I think that's a good way to better hone your own abilities, to build your visual and your narrative library of different themes and different ways that communities can live, or different hooks for stuff, and be able to make it for your own stuff. So the Midgard World Book is great. And then if you're looking, the Book of Ebon Tides and Tales from the Shadow, if you want to get into some weird Fey Shadowland world building, I think is really, really good. Or if you want to do more weird West wasteland, kind of magical apocalypse, think Dark Sun, potentially, definitely check out Tales from the Wasted West. No, not Tales from the Wasted West. It's Tales from the Wastelands. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta look at the book to make sure I'm saying the title right. Oh, it's dark. It's too dark. Hold on, wait. It wasn't as easy as what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. Oh, Kim, you were also here, but I did want to go see the book. I appreciate it. Waste of Chaos. Waste of Chaos gives you a lot of tools and stuff to build wasteland stuff. And then yes, Southlands also is really, really good, which expands on Midgard for the more southern areas as well. So yes, please go check out any of those. And then we also have tons of PDFs that have different adventure hooks, new monsters, new world building stuff, such as the Green Maiden PDF I really like if you want to do some world build, more world building around flora and fauna being mixed together in weird magical ways because of this elementally nature imbued succubus that just goes around and making magic plant stuff, which I think is super, super cool. And so that's a great place to go check that out as well. We've got so much stuff, but 100%. I think a great starting point, some essential ones, the Tome of B series, including Creature Codex, and then just going through Midgard and Southlands. There's just so much in there to get some amazing ideas from. Thank you, Megan. City of Cats, really, really good. It's as Megan describes it, an economical introduction to the Southlands if the world book seems too daunting. City of Cats, fantastic. Hopefully that was helpful. I said City of Cats and my phone thought I was saying Siri, which is understandable, I think. It's not what I was saying, but I get why I thought that. I hope that was helpful. Okay. Where was I? Yes. We did the language dependent spells that are cast here are 2 levels higher. Are scrying are the divination, is scrying a verbal component spell? Hold on. Okay, wait. What does it mean by what are language dependent spells? Hold on. That's not necessarily verbally said. I guess it can be. This is a little vague, and I guess as a game master, you can kind of figure out which way you wanted it to go. But is this a spell cast in a specific language? Because I imagine different languages might have different translations for similar spells, assuming depending on how magic works in your world, right? So Some spells require your target to know your language. Oh, interesting. So maybe that's what it means? Language dependent spells? Yeah, yeah, that makes sense to me. Or to be able to understand you. I think that makes sense. Charm person, etc. Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so how do I tie that into, I guess, okay, so charm person. I imagine charm. All right, now I'm pulling up the Tales of the Valiant player's guide so we could go through the spells and I can figure out which ones are spell dependent because I'm interested in figuring out a way to tie this in. This is what I'm going to be doing until I can find the player's guide. It's somewhere in this folder of PDFs. Oh no, Tales, TOV. Nope, that's not the one. That's not the one. There it is, TOV Player's Guide. I found it. We're all good, gang. Whew, saved. Okay. Okay, cool. Going to the spell lists. Cool. Join me on this journey. Join. Wait. Oh wait. Oh no. Did I wait? Huh? Why is it like this? Oh. Okay. Quick fix. Give me a moment. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. With all of my oh my goodness, with all of my computer issues that were happening, I had to reset up OBS, and there's a lot of things I hadn't tested yet just because I hadn't had to. This is one of them. Okay, cool. There we go. All right. Okay. Let's look through these spells. Okay. I love that the spell list has peak tutorial of how to research things you're not sure of. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. I love that the player's guide spell lists have what's it called? These like little like descriptions of them as well, because the amount of times I've had to go through a spell like a spell list for a particular class and it's just the name of it, I'm like, I think I know what that does, and then I go and read it, I'm like, I was kind of right, I was a little off. This is just it's so much more helpful. I guess this isn't the most, yeah, I don't know actually if just like looking through this list is going to be super helpful. Yeah, because animal friendship doesn't need them to know the language, right? It's super helpful. Suggestion spell, ooh, suggestion is really good. Yeah, hold on, wait, let's go down to suggestion. Does this go any further? What is suggestions arcane, right? I guess I could just yes, okay, that is you know what, I'm just gonna scroll down to the S's. E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S. Nope, still in P's. R at whoa, quick jump from P to S. What was I looking for? Suggestion. I missed it. There it is. Yeah, there we go. Okay, gang. We got there. Okay, suggestion. You suggest a course of activity limited to a sentence or two. Magically influence a creature you can see within range that can hear and understand you. So I feel like, yeah, this is going to be a lot of enchantment spells. Specifically, so what? We've got like what? Charm. Is it charm person or just charm now? Because I think it, or charm, is it charm creature? Because I think it also, I could be wrong, that it doesn't affect creatures. I don't know why in my brain it affects creatures, or no, it doesn't. It affects because originally charm person only affected humanoids. Am I correct in that? And then the change made it so that it affected non-humanoids as well. I could be completely making that up. I feel like there was a certain restriction. I just searched the PDF word understand. Oh my goodness. That is such a beautiful, wonderful. Charm now affects any creature that knows at least one language, but doesn't have to be your language. That's fair. That would still be language though, right? Because it has to understand the language. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, we've got charm, command, mass suggestion, modify memory. Okay. 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 With which charm being able to understand huh. Could you comprehend languages? Sorry, I'm trying to right now. I'm trying to do the wizard thing of okay, if I did this and then this would this then work. Oh, could it be used to scry on sentient monsters and tell them to stay still until the wizard gets there to ask for ingredients? It could. It potentially could, right? You could scry there. Yeah, no, 100%. Now, it depends on if the scry spell allows you to communicate with them through it, but I guess if you could scry them, you could see them. Could you then potentially message them because you can see them? Do you have to be able to see them for message? Message. You point a finger towards a creature within the range, and I guess it has to be within range. Scrying doesn't change the range, though, if I'm remembering correctly. But you could do ascending rather than a message. You send a message or 25 words fewer. Yeah, but that doesn't... Chaos is another one, yeah. I'm trying to figure out the weird wizard loophole to make to figure out, okay, if I was using this room as a place where I don't have to leave this room for the most part to be able to do the stuff I want to do, how would I do it? There's a good bit of spells that are language dependent, but not all of them allow for are at higher circles, which a key. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Hmm. Okay. How about this instead? I love the being able to scry. You could potentially scry into other realms as well, depending on your circle. Um, Perhaps then this room is also used as, can you summon a creature? I mean, I know you can. There are lots of conjuration things that like you can, like that's creating a familiar, not exactly what I'm looking for. Glyph of warding. Oh. That spell that summons hostile creatures, or okay, they appear as close as possible to the intruder and attack it. Okay, yeah, okay. Guards and wards. Locate. Like, yeah, okay, so I think what these mirrors might be enchanted with like a locate spell, right? So you just describe or name the thing you're looking for, and it like boom, it shows you where that thing is. But right now, like generally it's just like on like a on a wizard screensaver that charms intruders if they come in and try to look through them. Mayhaps the missing key is carried by the wizards themselves that make the things work. A secret tool. I like that. Or it could be scry on sense. Yeah. There are a good bit of spells that language. Oh yeah, you were. I already read that. Instant summons. You touch an item weighing 10 pounds or less. Oh, you have to touch it. So no, that's not what I'm looking for. That's Phantom Steed. Planar Binding. No. No. Is that all of the summoning spells? That can't be all of the summoning spells. Hmm. The thing that I was thinking of, and the reason why I was thinking of, try Conjure. Conjure might be what I'm looking for. Conjure woodland beings, create food and water, darkness, demiplane, entangle, faithful hound, floating disc, fog cloud, gate. You conjure a portal linking an unoccupied space you can see. God dang it. I hate this you can see. The you can see is really making it hard to do the thing I want to do. Me being a wizard in my tower, going through my spells. Yeah. The bounds of this spell are infuriating. Also, Gate is a 9th level spell. Okay, wait. Oh, portal linking to an unoccupied space that you can see, though. So that can be in the tower. To a precise location on a different plane of existence. Okay, that's still kind of what I was looking for, but... The portal is a circular opening which you can... Okay, the portal has a front and back. Deities and other plane rulers can prevent portals from being created by this spell from opening in their presence or anywhere in their domains. When you cast a spell, you can speak the name of a specific creature. Pseudonym, title, or nickname doesn't work. You need their true name. If that creature is on a plane other than one you are on, the portal opens in the named creature's immediate vicinity and draws them. Okay, I think Gate is closer to what I'm looking for, but not specifically what I'm looking for. Crystal balls. Grave touch, no. Incendiary cloud, insect plague, mage hand, major image, produce flame, sleet storm, stinking cloud, storm of vengeance. Yeah. So okay, just so you all know what I'm looking for, so maybe you could give me some more ideas here. My thought is, okay, if being in the tower increases potentially the effectiveness of like a charm, command, mass suggestion, modify memory, things of that nature. The goal is scry on a creature, monster, demon perhaps, or devil, powerful creatures. You scry on them, find them, teleport to them, bind them, bring them back with you to your tower, and then you use so on and so forth. Charm, command, mass suggestion, whatever it is that you need. Or maybe it's a place where where you know. Yeah, no, that was generally my thought. But to make this happen, there's so many things that have to happen. I imagine in the room is a teleportation circle that is that the wizard already knows and is like attuned with, so like can easily teleport somewhere else and then always come back knowing, you know, right? Crystal ball of telepathy means you wouldn't have to leave your tower to charm. Oh, wait, does telepathy let you charm people? Crystal ball of telepathy. While scrying with the crystal ball, you can communicate telepathically with creatures you can see within 30 feet of the spell's scrying sensor. No suggestion, no action required. You can also use an action to cast the suggestion spell from it through the sensor or on one of those creatures. You don't need to concentrate to maintain suggestion for the duration of the spell, but it ends if the... Oh! That's great. That's exactly what I was looking for. You use the mirrors to scry. You figure it out. You're like, okay, I know exactly what they are. I've got the information I need. Time to use my crystal ball of scrying, of telepathy. I mean, you do that. You suggestion, wait there or come to me. You get them into your tower. You do everything else you need to do. Boom! Oh my God, we got there. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We got there. Whew. Huh. Oh. Thank you, everybody, for your hard work. Whew. Now I can finally be the wizard I was meant to be. Amazing. Okay, well. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom, everybody. I'm a wizard, and this is my tower. Awesome. Well, if you too want to go through the nightmare that I just went through, it's not a nightmare. That was just a lot of fun. If showing off how small my brain can be or how little information actually lies in there over some things, you could go build your own little wizard room. If you go to this blog. Thank you so much, Victoria. This is so cool. I love the Wizard's Tower blog series. I think it's a lot of fun. So, with that out of the way, we're going to do one more blog post. I said I was doing a long Kobold Chats. I said it, and here we are. And I really want to do this one because I love the Howling Tower series. I love thinking about these lineages in like different ways and being able to like come up with new ways that like, just because I think one of the great things about the Tales of the Valiant lineages is that because they aren't specifically tied to any one setting, every person can imagine them in different ways or like build them into the world in different ways. And I think the Howling Tower series does a really good job of making us have to think about, okay, how do these people exist in our world? What are the ways that they've had to exist in this world? And just like coming up with new potentials for how they can be. Because I think that there are many people out there who get a little too stuck in like the tradition of the fantasy and of like the, yes, this is what it was in this other thing. Elves were like this in this other, in Lord of the Rings, so they have to be like this in my world. And it's like, no, they're made up. You can make them however you can make them be however you want them to be. So Howling Tower is super cool. No magical beasties are safe from you now. Not a single one. Not a single one. I'm coming for you. Dragon scourge that has been burning the countryside. Just wait until I scry inside of your cave and force you to fly to my tower, where then I shall slay you upon the fields in front of all of the town. That way they think I'm really cool and stuff. Yeah, so, whew. Oh no, I kind of gotta blow my nose. I'm a little stuffy. Or I can power through it and drink some water. I'm going to power through it. So, this is the third article looking at the lineages in Tales of the Valiant. Not as fantasy stereotypes, but as if they're alien species, similar to what you find in science fiction. The point of this is straightforward. Your character's lineage should be a cornerstone of deep role-playing, not just a mechanism for gaining some bonuses you'd like to have. Elves, dwarves, small folk in the crew aren't just humans with pointy ears or lush beards. Like everyone, you and me included, they are products of their culture, their upbringing, and their genes, which are very different from one lineage to another. One might even say, alien. They don't think, act, or view the world the way humans do, and that's a fascinating role-playing challenge. So, the assumptions. This article looks at beastkin with the typical recommended heritage of wildlands or, to a lesser degree, Slayer. Some of what's stated here won't apply to beastkin with different heritages, and it might apply fully to other characters with the Slayer or Wildlands heritage. In general, Wherever we state beastkin, we typically mean wildlands beastkin. The traits ascribed to beastkin in this article aren't exhaustive or universal. You're free and encouraged to devise your own cultural details for your character using these as a guide. But make it different, thought-provoking, and most of all, a solid hook for a unique role-playing experience. If you want to play your character like a human, play a human. Agreed. So, the Wildlands Beastkin. The two most common heritage choices for Beastkin are Slayer and Wildlands. The Slayer heritage implies an upbringing that's not too far off from simply being raised to be an adventurer. For this article, we're going to focus on Beastkin with the Wildlands heritage, which is practically tailor-made for Beastkin. Beastkin is a new lineage in TOV that TOV brings to the table, and it feels unique. And anything that's unique is inherently fascinating. What makes them unique? What characteristics make them so different, you ask? Well, here are your answers. Most Beastkin have physical features that identify them as something different from humans, elves, or dwarves, and other branches of humanity. Those features can startle or even terrify people who aren't accustomed to seeing Beastkin. Many Beastkin have short lifespans, only a few decades in many cases. The communities where Wildlands Beastkin are born and raised exist between the civilized and the wild. This isn't simply a remote or rural setting, it's an ill-defined region where the mundane world and the Fey world overlap. Wildlands Beastkin belong to both realms, yet don't fully belong to either. All Beastkin are prone to primal, animalistic urges. This can cause problems in civilized places with laws, customs, and moral codes very different from the Beastkin's home or region. They are tied to their primal nature. They are partially beasts. A wolf beastkin probably has similar urges, thought processes, and potentially customs and cultures that we might find being tied to what wolves are, and so on and so forth, which I think is a fun world building practice to come up with civilizations and cultures that are like, okay, what is a wolf beastkin society look like, right? What does that culture look like? What does that history look like? Which I think is a fun world building and role playing opportunity. So, getting comfortable in my skin. Beastkin don't look like you or me or your odd cousin. They don't look like anyone you've ever met or ever will meet. They resemble creatures of myths, monsters that frighten children, or even nightmares. We think a strange, bestial, or even frightening appearance is no problem in a fantasy world because people would be accustomed to seeing the unfamiliar, mythical, and anomalous creatures. The exact opposite is more plausible. In a world with real live werewolves, gnolls, satyrs, harpies, shape-shifting hags, demons, and countless other animal-like monsters that would tear your arms off for just making eye contact, common folk are more likely, not less, to assume anything that looks even remotely like a monster is a monster. Anyone with an ounce of self-preservation must treat dangerous-looking strangers as threats until they prove otherwise. Anything else can get you or your family killed or worse. The fact that a hulking, shaggy, elk-headed creature is accompanied by a human, an elf, and a dwarf says nothing about its good intentions. If anything, it throws suspicion on the human, the elf, and the dwarf. The problem is exacerbated by a tremendous variety of beastkin appearances. Beyond the basically humanoid shape, beastkin features follow no consistent pattern. A human who's dealt with half a dozen beastkin can still be unsure what sort of creature or monster they're seeing when they meet number 7. Further, living apart from civilization makes beastkin, wildlands beastkin specifically, rare in populated areas. Anywhere they go outside of their own communities, they may be the first beastkin to visit in every new place they go. They might need to prove their good intentions before being welcome. As a player of a beastkin, how you react to that treatment is a fundamental component to your character. Do you shrug it off, try to be an ambassador for all beastkin, or are you just damned sick of people judging you solely on your appearance? I think this is really, really an interesting train of thought, right? Because wildlands beastkin being separated, obviously, from more urban or more populated areas, would potentially, like, yeah, it creates this separation, this otherness, right? Because if you're not around them a lot and you are unsure of this person that looks like a wolf, right? Werewolves exist. What separates this person from being a werewolf in your mind? And it really, like, yeah, I guess depending on the world is really going to come down to, and I think is begs the question that I think a lot of world builders, I love lizard folk and how this sounds like, how about that, but more, love it, right? It begs the question, what is monstrosity in your world, right? I think like the existence of monsters is generally a given in these like high fantasy kind of worlds, right? We have werewolves, dragons. We have we have all of these things that exist outside of the places that we live that potentially threaten it purely by their own existence and like their wants and whims, right? Dragons go around taking gold, eating livestock and all of those things because dragons need to eat and have, because that's the fantasy we've made up, a penchant a penchant for collecting gold because they like shiny things, and are drawn to them for some reason, right? There are monsters that exist in the world, and the existence of things like of people like beastkin, the existence of orcs and all of these other things, right? We have to ask the question in every world that we build: what is monstrosity? How do people view monstrosity? What makes something a monster, right? Because even in our own world, there was a long period of time where certain animals that were, you know, just a little too large got called monsters because we didn't know what they were. Bears were monsters for people. Wolves were monsters for people. The things that live in the woods that we only got to see in the dark that harmed or threatened or scared someone at once. And they told a story and we're like, oh, that sounds scary. Don't want to deal with that, right? And so asking the question, how do we view monstrosity, especially when it comes to some traits that are linked to people with customs and cultures and who are otherwise potentially well-meaning, right? How do we engage with that in a way that's like thoughtful and actually interesting and not just like racist? Is a really interesting question, right? And I think the beast can exist in this very fun middle ground of being very animal-like, right? They look like they look like hawks and lizards and minotaurs and things of that nature from mythology that we would call potentially monstrous, right? But we know for a fact that they are people, and so that's a fun space to play in. As long as your players are okay with that, of course. So, next thing, Carpe Diem. A few beastkin live long lives, but most have only a handful of decades in this world. Unlike the short-lived animals they resemble, beastkin are well aware of their mortality. Time always presses on them, and they dislike wasting it. They do only live a couple of decades, compared to roughly 100 years of like humans, or potentially longer for elves and dwarves. Some beastkin deal with this by adopting a live-in-the-moment philosophy. Others, however, realize that a short lifespan is best served by taking a long view. A creature that lives a century or more can afford to slowly build up knowledge and experience. A beastkin needs to learn as much as possible during its short childhood and adolescence, and then make the most of its lifetime. Beasts can learn tradition and the ways of their ancestors while young and confidently follow those lessons through life. They don't have time to waste experimenting with customs or learning ethics by trial or error. Beastkin can seem rigidly tradition-bound to those who don't understand where these traditions come from or how they equip beastkin to deal with confounding foreign societies. That would lead to probably a very tradition-bound person. If you only have a couple of decades to figure things out, and a culture built around, okay, here are the things that we have figured out that have worked for us. This is how we have lived for all these times, for the many generations. This is what we know what works. We I can't spend a tenth of my life. Oh, I'm sorry, not a tenth. Sorry, a fifth of my lifetime trying to figure out new things, because what am I doing with my life at that point? You know. So that's a very interesting thought. Between two worlds, don't go reinventing the wheel for nothing. Yeah, because if you reinvent it and it doesn't work, well, now you've got a broken wheel, and then you're going to fall back in the other one, and then you wasted a good chunk of your life trying out something that maybe made your life worse. Between two worlds, all beastkin are closely tied to the natural world, and wildlands beastkin are even more so. To them, the merging of nature and community is as fundamental as breathing. It is, in every possible sense, the natural order of things. Other creatures that gather in cities and call themselves civilized don't see it that way. Nature and civilization are separate and distinct. Some go as far as to see nature as something to subdue, conquer, and bend to the will of civilization. These opposed viewpoints are bound to come into conflict. Beastkin don't reject civilization, but they might not understand how or why other seemingly intelligent creatures split the world into two camps. That confusion can cut in both directions. A hermit who lives alone in a cave, surviving on frogs and moss, makes no more sense than a wealthy merchant who burns down forests to expand cotton fields or poisons a thriving stream with mine tailings. To the beastkin, both of those lives are grossly and sickly out of balance. As above, different beastkin characters can react to this in different ways, but what's important is for the players to decide what that reaction will be and how it affects the character's relationship with the broad, contradictory, paradoxical world outside of their community. Does it make them sad, confused, or angry? Does it have anything to do with why they became an adventurer in the first place? If you live in a world where nature and civilization are things that cohabitate and live symbiotically, it can be very strange to come into a city where there is not a lick of the natural world in it outside of trees that have been forcibly planted to make the place look nice or nicer, right? And it's like, well, why did you all just do this? You could just have trees growing throughout this place. And then they're like, yeah, but where would the businesses go? And it's like, they could be next to the trees or built inside of the trees or have the trees be a part of it. They don't have to be separate entities. They can cohabitate. And probably you will find that that symbiotic nature may actually help you because you have to do less work overall if the place where you live and the thing that you're building are meant to work together rather than against each other. Living with my inner animal. Beastkin society is a unique mix of civilization and savagery. They have laws and culture and tradition, but inside each beastkin is also a wild animal with a longing to race headlong through thick forest or stalk prey or soar above the treetops before plunging earthward to kill. This is not a mere passing, oh, that'd be cool feeling, but a primal need, an instinctive urge. Just because beastkin are civilized doesn't mean they suppress this urge. It's a fundamental part of who they are, both as individuals and as a culture. They can resist it, but why should they? Much of what young beasts can learn from their ancestral traditions is how to use their urges not as beasts do, simply to eat or survive, but as intelligent planning creatures do, to further their own goals and causes and to protect what they hold dear. Agree. Those things don't necessarily need to be. I don't necessarily like the use of the word savagery here because it assumes that that those urges are not civilized, because as it says, those things can be, right? Those things, it is about the way in which those but think of all the pine needles that get into your shop. Well, hey, what if the pine needles are a part of your shop now? What if you can use those pine needles as a part of crafting, as a part of decoration? What if that's the vibe, you know? But yes. Role-playing your beastkin. Beastkin are complex, paradoxical creatures, which makes them a fascinating role-playing challenge. To get the most from your role-playing experience, keep these things in mind. You will often be mistrusted, disliked, suspected, feared, or even attacked with no better reason other than your appearance. Whether you treat that as a challenge or as an injustice is your choice. Both are valid. Life is short, but your ancestors left you powerful traditions to help you make the most of it. You decide what those traditions are, but once decided, cling to them as if your life depended on it. In many ways, it does. The rest of the world sees nature and civilization as opposing forces. To you, they are inextricable, two sides of the same coin. Splitting them makes no sense. Steering others to that understanding could be your calling. And the wild beast in you can't be denied or suppressed, and it shouldn't be, but it can be steered towards serving a greater purpose than simply surviving and reproducing without losing any of its wildness. Follow these precepts, and your beastkin character will be one to remember. Excuse me. Thank you, Steve Winter. The Howling Tower, yeah, I love the Howling Tower series. I love thinking more in depth about how these lineages are supposed to fit in our world, the way in the different ways they can change depending on what's the vibe of the game, what is the themes that you're trying to hit on. I think beastkin are super cool and a great space to play. Yeah, within that space of how is nature and civilization both opposed to each other in some ways, depending on one's perspective, and also how they can, and the different ways that they can be intertwined with each other. Especially because I imagine beastkin of different varieties. A hawk beastkin is going to view the way their own culture, the way civilization and that nature are intertwined differently than a cow beastkin. And there's a lot of fun in that. Whew. All right, gang. I did it. We did it. We went through all the stuff. We got through the topics of the day. Let's go. Thank you, everybody, for sticking along with me. This has been a long one. But also, hopefully, a very fun one. We have so much to look forward to with the Monster Vault 2 and some of the other stuff that's coming out. And I had a great time. Like last year, we had our first Kobold Con. We had the Kobold Creates program, Tales of the Valiant, Player's Guide, Monster Vault, and Game Master's Guide have hit your shelves and hit the game stores. Labyrinth World book is actively being worked on. Dungeons and Ruins is in the process of being fulfilled. There's so much happening. And so many cool things happening this year. And I'm so excited for it. As you can tell, now that I got through that blog, my energy, boom. But here we are. It's been so good being back here doing Kobold Chats. Next week, I'll have a very special guest. Megan's coming in, and we're talking Monster Vault 2 and all the goodies you can hope for in that. So it's going to be a fun time. It's Kickstarter season, baby. It's our first Kickstarter of the year, and it's going to be so good. So thank you all for being along with it, and I hope you tell your friends so that they can join us on the ride as well. Yeah, I'm crashing. Okay, I can feel it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I've been Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. And thanks for being here at Kobold Chats. And we will see you next week. Same time, same channel. And don't forget to go out, eat enough food, drink enough water, get enough sleep, and take care of yourself. Because self-care is very important. It's the new year. Gotta start off strong. And don't forget to love yourself and play some amazing games. And love all the people around you as well. We'll see you next time. See y'all. I pressed the wrong button. It's similar, but different.